Well, the Pistons found a way to make it a close game again, but at the end of the day, we came out with another win, kicking off this West Coast road trip at 2-0. Hey everybody, Merry Christmas Eve right here from mid-Michigan. Welcome to another edition of Pistons Daily, a podcast where we bring you daily content about your favorite team in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. I'm your host, Coach T, Tony Nash, and we have got a lot to get into today. I know it's Christmas Eve, and so you're all spending time with family and friends. So we'll try to make this one a quick one, but let's talk about last night's game against the Kings. Coming in, obviously, this was the type of win we talked about yesterday on the podcast. These are the types of wins that mature teams have to get. We talked about setting the tone early, which the Pistons really did. We came out right. We were really moving the ball up and down the court quick. We were running. I love the pace of the game at the beginning. We were really playing almost perfect basketball, only 4 turnovers in the first quarter, and really had a great first half and did a good job executing. And everybody was getting involved, and it was fun basketball to watch. But then down the stretch, we found a way to make it a close game again, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the end. At the end of the day, a win is a win, right? West Coast wins are even tougher sometimes than East Coast wins. The time change, obviously the teams in Sacramento, even though they're having a bad season, they have some really good players. But 136 to 127 really is not a reflection of what this game looked like. But again, down the stretch, the Pistons found a way to make it close. And it gets frustrating to watch, and I'm sure it's frustrating as the players. But let's get into what tonight's game looked like. Leading the way for the Pistons, we had Cade and Duran with, Uncle Toby. Mr. T, as Greg Kelser called him tonight, led the way with 24 points. He had a good game tonight, 3 for 6 from 3. He had 3 dunks in the first quarter. Came out really playing strong, aggressive, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And then JD and Cade both had 23, so 3 players over 20 points, and Asar Thompson had 19. So the starting lineup looked really good tonight. Duncan Robinson hit a few big threes. He had 9. Cade ended up with another double-double, 23 and 14. Jalen Duran with another double-double, 23 and 13. Rebounds, of course. And then Asar has really been playing good basketball the last couple of games. I really like how aggressive he's being. I like how he's attacking the paint. He's getting his shots up, 13 shots this game, and a similar number last night. So, we talked about he was averaging around that 7-8 shots a game. I like seeing him get his shots up. His minutes have improved. He's at 36 minutes tonight. Defense is looking stellar as always. I really like what I'm seeing from Asar. Free throw shooting still an issue, but he was 7 for 10 tonight. Shot pretty good from the free throw line last night. So as long as we can continue to see improvements there, that's a good thing. But man, when Asar is attacking like that, I really like it. And so he shot 6 for 13 from the field. Really, everybody shot pretty good. As a team, we shot 54% tonight, which is one of our higher games in a while. And we shot 44% from 3, which has to be up there with one of our best three-point shooting games of the season. We were 14 for 32. Usually we're around that 10-11 mark. Tonight we hit 14. So the three-point shooting was good. Again, through 3 quarters, we looked really good. And then we got to that fourth quarter. And what seems to be a trend for our team started to happen again. Isaiah Stewart off the bench with 16 points. I think he had 10 in the first half. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, had a couple nice blocks. And we're going to talk a little about Stu here tonight as well. Stu was 2 for 6 from 3, so it's nice to see him knock a few threes down. He's been struggling a little bit lately. We got to see Stu and Duran on the court a little bit together tonight. And again, when those guys are on the court together, we really look tough. Didn't get to see my lineup tonight. With Karis LeVert and Asar, my starting 5 that I like to see. Didn't get to see that, but Jaden Ivy had 8 points in just 14 minutes, 3 for 5. Looked good. He's getting better and better. Still limited minutes. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get too much into that. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But we actually only played 9 guys tonight, which is the smallest rotation we've had in a while. So I don't know if that has to do with JB trying to, decrease the rotation. But I like the shorter rotations. Javonte Green, 18 minutes, 9 points, 3 for 6. I really like Javonte Green. He's really growing on me. He's one of those guys that doesn't need a lot. He doesn't demand the ball. He plays hard. He comes in right off the bench, immediately makes an impact. And he's one of those guys that I really think fits the Detroit culture. He's a hard work player. And if he only gets a few minutes, he's fine to come the next day and play hard. So I really like Javonte. I think he's a core piece for us, and hopefully we can keep him as we move forward. Sacramento, their record really, really surprises me because they have some good players on their squad. I know they had some injuries tonight with Sabonis and Levine, but I mean with DeRozan, Westbrook, Levine, with Sabonis, and then they got Malik Monk, they got Dennis Schroeder, and they have some nice pieces on this team. So I don't know if it's coaching. I really got to be honest, I haven't watched any Sacramento basketball this year, so I don't really know what their issues are. I will tell you from my perception, they don't like to play defense. I mean, we put up 136 points tonight, although we gave up 127, which is too many. But they're an offensive, they got a lot of offensive players. I don't think they like to play defense. They definitely don't rebound well. Let me see how we did on the rebounds here. It says that we had 26 rebounds. Sorry. Let me look back at this again. Offensive rebounds, we had 16, and they had 5. They had 19. They actually had more offensive rebounds than us. At the beginning, it really didn't look like they really were wanting to rebound that much. They must have pulled it together more, and it's not something that I noticed. But tough. I mean, again, with the players they have, Achua is a nice player. Murray is a nice player. And then DeMar DeRozan tonight with 37 points. I mean, just you kind of forget about DeRozan, but what a player. I mean, he's a baller. 12 for 18 from the field. Westbrook, the old man, had 27 with 4 threes tonight. I think it's tough when you give up 27 to Russell Westbrook, but he can still play. They had 4 guys in double digits. So, defense could have been better, but again, you got to hand it to the offense of Sacramento. They have some good offensive players, but our perimeter defense wasn't great, and they caught us a few times. So, overall, a good win. I think we're 5-1 or 6-1 against West Coast teams right now, which I love to see. I'm really looking forward to see how we stack up against some of the better teams. The only really good West Coast team we played is Houston, and we beat them. We got LA next week, the Lakers, that is. So I'm looking forward to see how we stack up against them. But good win and good team win. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to point out here. We're going to talk about turnovers here in a second, so I don't want to dive too deep into that. But let me know in the comments, what were your thoughts about tonight's win? Are you kind of, as a fan, do you get tired of seeing us build this great lead and then we let it all kind of go away? In the fourth quarter, it seems to be like a theme that we're doing here. So, and then let's talk about why we think that is. So, I want to talk about us maintaining these big leads, and I think really a big key of that is turnovers. We only had 4 turnovers in the first half, as I said, and we ended up with 15 turnovers. We had 11 turnovers in the second half, and that's an issue. I think maybe it's when we get these big leads, we get a little complacent. We're not trying as hard. We're trying things that maybe you wouldn't try if it was a closer game, trying crazier passes, taking shots you wouldn't normally take. And so we get a little bit careless with the ball. I also think, rotating more, even though tonight the rotations weren't huge, I think the more you rotate guys in and out, the more you're going to have a propensity to lose rhythm and lose chemistry. And we got to find a way to really start our fourth quarters off well. We finished the games well. We are getting the wins. We have the most single-digit wins of any team in the league. We're finding ways to close out these games. Again, going back to our season a couple years ago where we lost 28 in a row, there were so many of those games where we were right in the game, and we ended up losing at the end. And so we weren't executing when it came down to crunch time, and we are finding a way to close out these games. So that's a good thing, but we got to stop putting ourselves in these positions. So the turnovers have to be addressed in crunch time. Also, I think we go away from execution. We do a lot more ISO. We rely a lot on Cade to really take over in the fourth quarter. But tonight, they were double and even triple teaming him in the fourth quarter, and he kept having to dish the ball off and put it in someone else's hand. And I think, you saw Duren kind of get a one-on-one, used 15 seconds of the shot clock to dribble and then kind of take an ISO move, missed a shot. We've seen Tobias do that twice. We've seen Nassar do that twice. So I think we stop executing. We start really going into a lot more ISO ball, which is not our game. Our game is movement and ball movement and finding the open man, spreading the floor. And so I think part of it, obviously the turnovers, the execution. I also think missed free throws. We missed eight free throws tonight. A lot of them happened in the fourth quarter. And so just locking in and knocking down free throws when the game is on the line. And then our defense, man. I mean, our defense, let me look here. So quarter by quarter, so we won the first three quarters. Let's see if I can pull this up here. My phone's going slow. So we won the first quarter 37-24. 37 points in the first quarter is incredible. Then we scored 38 in the second and 40 in the third. So 38-34 in the second, 40-39 in the third. Both teams scored a lot of points in the third quarter. Of course, the Kings didn't start scoring theirs till the end. But we can't be giving up that many points. But those are great offensive quarters for us. But then we only scored 21 in the fourth. We got outscored 30-21. So lost the fourth quarter. Our defense went down. We started getting lazy. I don't know if it was legs. I don't know if it was just we thought we had the game under control. Even the announcers kind of started talking about, Sacramento's going to struggle a lot this year, like the game was over. And I thought, man, I've been watching this team all year. We cannot act like the game is over until the game is over. And so, I think turnovers, execution, doing what we do well, even in the fourth quarter, I guess especially in the fourth quarter, locking in, hitting the free throws, and then really clamping down that defense. When we do that, when we play Detroit basketball, which defense to offense, we're a tough team to beat. And I think we just get away from that sometimes. And then, again, I'm just going to harp on this. Jaden Ivy did not see the court in the fourth quarter, and I just don't understand it. What is going on here? Is there a personal issue that JB has with Jaden Ivy? It doesn't seem like it. Obviously, last year at this time, he was balling out. And, I realized that, JB saw a lot of success after Jaden Ivy went out. So in his mind, does he think, man, we're a better team without Jaden Ivy? Is maybe he getting pressure from the front office to play him, but as a coach, he's like, Jaden Ivy doesn't fit in my system. He doesn't fit in what I'm trying to do. Because it doesn't seem like he's really given him a fair shot at this. He's getting a little bit longer stints tonight. He had 3, but again, only 14 minutes. So I can't imagine that he's still on a 14-minute restrictions. And he just seems to be in love with Caris LeVert. And I don't know what he's seeing that I am not. Some of you really came to Caris LeVert's defense in the comments yesterday. And I can appreciate your support of him. And again, I'm not a hater. I call it like I see it. And it seems to me like JB just has this affinity that I can't see for Caris LeVert. And I get it. He's the third leading scorer off the bench. But scoring points isn't all that's involved with being a contributor to the game of basketball. There's a lot of other intangibles that really impact winning. And just putting the ball in the hoop is not the only thing that impacts winning. Playing defense, knowing how to rotate, chemistry within, ball movement, being able to execute, run systems, taking smart shots at smart times, having high IQ. And there's many times where Caris doesn't have that. And I think Jaden Ivy does. And at minimum, we got to at least give him time. So then I'm watching this game, and in crunch time, we got Javonte Green in the game. We were bringing in Caris a little bit, and no Jaden Ivy. And so what's the deal? Like, why do we not want to put him out there in those situations to see what he can do? Do we not want to see if he can execute in those big moments? Is he not part of the long-term plan? And for me, if I'm a coach and I'm like, hey, we got this game kind of under control. The other team's starting to make a little bit of a run. Let me throw Ivy out there and see how he does in the mix. Let me put a little pressure on him. Let's put him under the pressure and see how he performs. I mean, don't you want to see that? Obviously, if he's struggling, you can always pull him. We don't seem to pull Karras when he's struggling. So I just don't get it. Like, you got to let me know. What are you seeing? Do you think JB has some sort of issue with Jaden Ivy? I say we either got to play him or trade him. And I don't want to trade him. Like, I watch him play, and you see these moments of explosiveness. And I get, like, when he's in the game, they kind of pick on him. They go at him on defense because they realize he's still getting his legs. But the hustle, the effort, the energy, the skill, it's all there. It's just got to continue to be brought out. And so, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But why do we always struggle to maintain these big leads? Again, I think turnovers, execution, missed free throws, defense, and rotations are all big things that contribute to that. And then, I don't know, did you see this? Did you see this at the 2 minute and 13 seconds to go in the third quarter? Stu got called for a foul, and then they challenged it to see if it was a flagrant, and it actually got considered a common, which whenever, in my thought, whenever the refs are going to review a call that was a hard foul involving Isaiah Stewart, my immediate thought is, okay, Stu's going to get a T. They don't ever give Stu the benefit of the doubt based on his history and the reputation that he's built for himself. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be upgraded to a technical. Even though I saw the play and it looked like Cardwell pulled him down by his arm, like they're still going to call Stu because he put his elbow up by his chin there. And even though it didn't seem aggressive to me, it was just two guys fighting for position. And I could not believe my ears. I actually rewound it to make sure I heard it right. The refs actually kept it as a common foul and called a technical on Cardwell for pulling Stewart to the ground and trying to sell it, which never, ever happened. So it was nice to be on the positive side of the whistle, especially with Stewart for once. He never gets benefit of the doubt calls. And so I thought I needed to talk about that for a second because I thought that was a cool moment. I think Stu was surprised. You saw when they called it, he kind of looked surprised because he's just used to getting that call. And I think we were all surprised. But, I love it when an official calls the game like they see it. That's it. If it was a flagrant foul, then call it. But they saw what Cardwell did. They called it a T, even though it was Isaiah Stewart. I love seeing that. And so, what were your thoughts about that? 1 second here. What's going on with my TV? Oh, guess it doesn't matter. Just got the channel up there in the background. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching this, head on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you can be notified right away when we drop this great content. And share this with all your Pistons fans. We all those friends of yours that like the Pistons or the ones that are starting to come around. Now that the Lions look like, I don't know if this is going to, we have a 14% chance of making the playoffs at this point. We basically have to win out, and Green Bay has to lose out. So very small chances. I think fans are like, all right, the Lions aren't going to do it this year. We're going to start to see them migrate to the Pistons. So share this channel with them. Let's build this community so that we can continue to show our support for our Detroit Pistons. But it was great to see Stu getting that call for once. Doesn't happen to our man very often. And I'm a big Stu fan. I really like what Stu does. He is a Detroit player through and through. Like, he is a bad boy, right? I love that. So while I was watching this game, I haven't thought about Malik Monk at all in a long time. And I've been thinking a lot in my, analyzing the game from a coach's perspective. Who would be a good fit? I know we're going to have to make some sort of a move here. And I'm not, I've not been big on the big blockbuster trade move that just mortgage the future of the team for one big name. I've been against that. I've pretty much squashed every trade rumor. So I decided to come up with a trade rumor of my own. During the game, I went to ESPN's NBA Trade Simulator, where you can actually put in a player from a team and then suggest a trade from the other team to see if it works and if the NBA would accept a trade. And I'm watching Malik Monk, and I'm like, man, he used to be good. He was like second. He was runner-up 2 years ago for Sixth Man of the Year. Great shooter, great defender, and really an impact player. And then I heard the announcer say that they're not really using him much this year. So I looked up his stats. He's only averaging 22 minutes a game this year, and even with that, he's averaged 12.5 points, 2.5 assists, 2 rebounds. He's shooting 43% from the field. He's shooting a career high 41% from 3. Even the little bit of time he was in there, he hit some big shots, makes some big plays. He's an 84% free throw shooter. And so I thought, man, he's kind of like a Malik Beasley type. And I don't know if we're going to get Malik Beasley back. Man, he just keeps teasing us on Instagram, and he wants to be back. But, man, we're getting nothing from the league on this investigation. So I thought, man, what about bringing Malik Monk? Does he fit, especially if Sacramento's not using him? So I look up his salary, and his salary is only $18 million a year. And so I thought, man, let me pull up here what I kind of proposed. I don't know if you can see this here. This is my proposed trade rumor here. So I made up my own trade rumor that we're going to post today. And that is the Pistons would get Malik Monk for Karis LeVert. Bye-bye. I know some of you might be sad to see him go. I think he might fit better on a team like Sacramento that's all about offense. Marcus Sasser, since we're not really using him, and Bobby Klintman. And those three together equal almost the exact same amount at just over $18 million. And the NBA would approve the trade. We're giving up 3 rotation guys, which solves some of the issues of we got to get all these guys in, for a guy that's an immediate impact player, a guy that can give you, can heat up and give you 15 to 20 points on any given night, spreads the floor. You see when Duncan goes off the court that they immediately go to zone, and then we really struggle. We're actually getting much better at beating these zones, which I love seeing. Hats off to JB for figuring those things out. But I think Malik Monk could be a really good option for us. Not going to cost us a lot of money, someone we could keep for several years. And then even if we do get Malik Beasley back, that's okay, because having another shooter is not a big issue. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think Malik Monk would fit in Detroit? Again, he's a great defender, great shooter, spreads the floor. He's kind of one of those tough guys. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do we mind giving up 3 guys in Karis LeVert, Marcus Sasser, Bobby Klintman? I don't see a future for Sasser in Detroit. We're just not giving him an opportunity to play, and I understand why. So to me, if we're not going to give him opportunity to play and not develop him, Bobby Klintman is, we're not going to use him. Karis LeVert, again, to me, it doesn't fit. I think, why not make this trade? So let me know your thoughts on this, and let me know your thoughts on our win from last night. Let me know your thoughts about why we're not being able to hold on to these leads, what we're struggling with. Do you agree with my assessment? Are there other things that we're missing? And then let me know if you noticed that call that Stu got, which was just a big moment. Just as a fan, I enjoyed that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about Malik Monk to Detroit. Does that work? Does that fit? I do want to read for you a comment that we got yesterday. Let me pull it up here. Also, let me know what you guys have planned for Christmas. I'd love to hear about it. We get up early in the morning. We open presents with the younger kids in the family. I have 6 kids, if I haven't told you that. So I still have 3 in the house. We're going to open presents with them. And when I say younger kids, they're still 14 to 18. So open presents, and then my older kids are coming over at 10. We'll do breakfast. We'll do some more presents. And then I'm making a 20-pound prime rib for the whole family. I do it every year. And I have a fantastic prime rib recipe. I look forward to it, but it is a stressful thing to do because it's a $300-$400 piece of meat. But if you do it right, which most years I have, it is chef's kiss. It is delicious. So I wanted to read a comment from the podcast yesterday. I found this to be interesting, and if I could get there, I should have just had this pulled up for you guys. I'm really sorry. Okay. So this is from at Mark Pajot-Y3N. Mark Pajot-Y3N. And this was from yesterday's podcast where I talked about Careless LeVert. He says, where's the other guy who did this content? Well, the other guy's not here anymore. I'm the new host. He says, where's the other guy who did this content? Coach T, in quotes. So I guess that's saying maybe he doesn't think I'm a real coach, or maybe he doesn't like that. I don't know. Coach T inflates himself and downgrades actual NBA players. Effing terrible host. So I said, hey there, Mr. Mark Pajot, Y3N. Please tell me how I inflate myself. It's an honest take. Prove me wrong. If you don't like my take, listen, number one, I'm always going to give it to you straight. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, I don't take it personally. So tell me. But don't just give me like, oh, he's a terrible host, or Coach T this, or he inflates. Like, give me some facts. Like, what did I say or what did I do that you disagreed with? And tell me your point of view. And I'm open to it. Like, man, if you can show me how Karras is the guy for our team, hey, I'll come around. Like, all I want to do is win, right? I have no ulterior motives here. I'm not part of the team. I don't pay Careless LeVert. And I have no reason to not like him because I'm a big Michigan fan. But if you can prove to me why Karras is the guy, hey, I'd love to hear it. So come at me with facts. I'm bringing you facts or opinions. If I'm backing it up with statistics and different things. And so let me know. And also let me know how I inflate myself. If that's something that maybe you have the perception, I'd love to hear that. I like to think I'm relatively humble, but I know basketball. I've been around the game my whole life. I've played a lot of basketball. I've coached a lot of basketball. I've coached I've coached my teams to 4 state championship games. I've won 2 of them. And the 2 that I lost one by 1 point and another by 2 points. So 3-point differential, I would have 4 state championships. So I know the game and I understand it, but I have a unique perspective. It doesn't mean I'm always right, but I'm always going to give you my perspective. And so I like the back and forth. Come at me with your opinion and what you think, but don't just, to me, that's weak. Like, oh, this guy inflates himself and he downgrades actual NBA players. Like, are you saying that NBA players levitate above the rest of us and that they can never be criticized? Like, if you've listened to the podcast, you know that I've given Karras and a lot of players props when they deserve them. And then when they're doing things that I see are an issue, I'm going to point them out. That's not me downgrading them. I understand that every single NBA player, the guy that's the 15th man on the bench on the worst team in the NBA, would light me up. They would take me to school and everything, better players than me. Doesn't necessarily mean they know more about the game than me. And it doesn't mean that just because I say something negative about them or say that someone doesn't fit with a team that I'm downgrading that player. So do better, Mark Pajot-Y3N. But let's have a conversation. If you have some reasons, I want to hear it. But please keep bringing the comments. I love it. I love the back and forth. But Coach T has strong opinions, and I'm going to bring them to you how I see it. But I'm always, always, always open to be proved wrong. And again, if you have a formula that we can share on this podcast that will help our Pistons win more games, I'm all for it, baby. I'm all for it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Merry Christmas Eve. I will be coming to you tomorrow on Christmas Day. We're going to do a Christmas Day episode. Unfortunately, our Pistons are not playing on Christmas Day. I think maybe after the season we're having this year, next year we may get asked to play on Christmas Day, which would be awesome for me. I'm sure the players would probably rather be home with their families, but I would love to see the Pistons play a Christmas Day game. Like, I think it would be a sweet Christmas Day game. Pistons-Knicks, right? That'd be an awesome Christmas Day game. But we'll talk about some of the games they're going to be playing tomorrow. I have a couple other things I want to talk to you about the Pistons. There's some new rankings that have come out for best point guards in the NBA, best centers in the NBA, and our guys are on there, but it's a little controversial. So come in tomorrow to talk about that. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope it's the best day. It's my favorite season of the year. It's my favorite holiday. I'm so looking forward to spending some time with family. And I'll let you know how the prime rib was, and you let me know what you're doing and your holiday traditions. But that's all I got. So, as always, Detroit basketball. Let's go, baby.